time has come for a new universe to be revealed. DC Universe Online. Step into the DC Universe as it comes to life online and put the power of legendary superheroes and villains in the palm of your hand.
One of the things we want to do with DCUO is establish a new angle to the online genre. We want to lead the developers, we want to lead the community into this new space and bring them an experience that they don't expect.
Our goal for DC Universe Online is to allow the players to feel like they've stepped into the DC Universe. And not only just stepped into the DC Universe, but stepped into the DC Universe through the eyes of Jim Lee. You could look at any of his most recent works, Batman, Hush, Superman for Tomorrow, and it's cool, it's edgy, and it's perfect for the demographics for this game.
The eyes and ears for DC on the game. A lot of people at DC obviously are very familiar with the DC Universe, but I'm a very big gamer, and so I'm in a unique position at DC to really look at the game from both DC Comics person's perspective and also from a gaming perspective. Don has gone through 60 years of continuity and picked out the very coolest parts of the DC Universe. These are environments that were concepted out by Carlos D'Anda, Oliver Nomi, and Livio Ramondelli, and there are various buildings, and we really treat each of the environments as if they were characters. We want them to have personality and a presence, and we do that by picking suitable colors, also by making sure every element of an environment really speaks of that environment. So if we do a street corner in Gotham City, we want players to be in the game, look one direction, and know instantly that that's where they are. At the end of the day, the environments have to work towards gameplay, and if the spaces are too large or too confined, too constricted in their space, they will modify it here. We actually have concepted out every asset in the game, every character in the game. This is the starting point. This creates the dialogue between the artists in San Diego and the artists here at Sony. And there's a lot of interplay and fine tweaking that goes back and forth. And we end up with some really cool looking 3D assets. Not only can you create a character and fight alongside all these great characters that you've loved since you became immersed into the DC Universe, you can explore these universes and you could do it on your own time in your own direction. It's really another way to experience and enjoy the DC Universe.
DCUO is really going to be a breakout experience for people because of the physics-based gameplay that we have. I mean, you're going to be able to create lots of objects in the world and be able to use those as weapons. You're going to be able to use the environment as weapons. The amount of combinations and unique moment-to-moment tactics that this game is going to provide is going to be quite incredible.
Basically, the idea is you'll start off as a new hero or new villain. You customize that person, giving them the powers that you want to have, the appearance you want to have, and you'll do heroic or villainous things. The biggest fantasy a player could have is to stand alongside the JLA there in that lineup, right? Not necessarily to be just another person playing Superman in another Superman game, but instead to be the equal of Superman, to be respected by those guys. Or on the villain side, to be feared enough and respected to participate in their worldwide crimes. The DC Universe has magic, it has aliens, it has high tech, it has just regular guys who've trained up. So from a gameplay standpoint, there's nothing it doesn't have, right? It's a fantasy game plus a sci-fi game plus a modern shooter game all rolled into one.
Today to talk about a game that I'm very excited about looking at, and that's DC Universe Online, and I'm here with Jens Andersen, who's the creative director of the game.
Hi.
And so obviously not everyone's going to be able to run around and play as Batman or Robin or Superman, so how are you going to create a character, and what's the gameplay like?
Well, you're going to be able to create your own original character that's going to be part of the DC Universe, and you're going to be able to interact with all these iconics like Batman and Superman and stuff like that. So you'll be able to sort of be their equal in the game rather than their sidekick sidekick or be them. So you're an individual.
But you can kick their butt later if you have to.
if you're able. Our city is more alive. Civilians will be doing things that you'd expect them to do, going to work, grabbing lunch. There's not just going to be, mobs or monsters camped out all over the place. It'll look like a real city where things happen and people react.
So you could just fly in and kind of ruin their afternoon.
You could if you were a villain, but we're not pigeonholing you into any one role. We're going to allow you to sort of change it up depending on what you want to play that night. We have a loadout system that allows you to sort of load in your tanking abilities, or you can load in your support abilities or your DPS abilities. Doesn't really matter. It's sort of up to you and your group as to how you want to play. You start off being a villain or a hero at character creation, but we do have some systems in play that are going to allow you to sort of walk the line, kind of like Batman does a little bit, where he's a hero, but not one that you really kind of probably want to meet in a dark alley.
So what happens if someone makes a character name like Batman-O?
That's when
that's what I would name my character, Batman.
I think that's when the name police kind of show up and name you something appropriate at that point.
Is there a traditional kind of quest line series that you go through, or is it just an open world where you happen to find stuff to do?
Well, it's actually both. We have an open world that has a lot of what we call base content, and then we have cases and capers. Heroes work on cases and villains work on capers. So you're going to be able to find directed content that has more of a storyline to it than what you just find patrolling the city, waiting for that poor person to cry out in the alley.
And through those cases, you'll eventually encounter some of the bigger heroes?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. They'll actually be giving you some of these cases. You'll be working with them. You'll be working alongside of them. You'll be going up against them. So you'll have a lot of interaction with the iconic characters.
So what's the end game? What are you trying to ultimately achieve in the game?
Well, when you reach the end game, you're really dealing with our Save the World concept, which is basically hotspots are kind of popping up all over the globe, which you are going and taking care of. There's a lot of areas, let's say a Starlab satellite crashes in the Gobi Desert. You're going to need to go and get that technology back before it falls into the wrong hands.
Is that kind of a rating thing? Like, are you doing it with a lot of other people, or is it just more of a solo deal?
You can do it with a lot of other people, but our rating aspect really takes place in our own locales. So like in Star Labs or Arkham Asylum or something like that, you'll be able to go in there with a bunch of friends and take on a much more challenging encounter with the iconic characters.
Do you plan on having voice chat or anything initiated within
Yes.
the UI?
Yes, absolutely.
People will be able to talk I'm over here at the corner of Gotham and Metropolis.
Yeah, Captain Twinkletoes, where are you? We're on the roof.
We're here now with Chris Kao, who's the studio creative director on the game, of course, and SOE has had a history with MMOs. I mean, we've got Star Wars Galaxies, EverQuest 1 and 2, and there's been, mixed reactions within the MMO world. I mean, there's fans that are in love with the titles, but then at the same time you're going up against the 800-pound gorilla in the room, that being World of Warcraft, of course. What lessons have you guys learned from that past history, and how do you plan on bringing in DCUO into the world and making it a success?
Well, the two biggest lessons for us are serve the license, serve the player, right? You've got to deliver that experience players are expecting from the world that they love, and you have to give it to them and customize it to them. That's why we are working with Jim Lee and with DC to make sure we're getting it right. And we're showing it off at Comic-Con to the fans, who are the ones who are going to pay for it, and those are the ones we're serving. So that's what we've learned.
What kind of method of payment are you guys thinking of for the game? Are you going to have a monthly kind of fee, a subscription-based formula, or have you not decided that yet?
Yeah, right now we haven't really decided because we are the first one that's console and PC with this license. So instead we're going to look and say, hey, what do console gamers like to pay? How do they do it? And see where it goes from there. The pace of gameplay and the action-oriented nature of it, typically you don't see that in an MMO. Well, we've brought it to the forefront. You're throwing guys around, you're picking up buses, and it's just a superhero action game that you get to play with your friends for months.
So tell me about Jim Lee's involvement in the game. I mean, he's obviously a superstar in the graphic novel world.
Right. He's the executive creative director on the project, so it's his vision that we're realizing the DC universe. In fact, his studio, Wildstorm, is drawing all the concepts for the game. And Jim can't help himself, he draws stuff from time to time too.
Can we go take a closer look at some of the concept art you've got on the wall out there?
Sure, no problem, let's do it.
All right.
And here it is.
Whoa.
The vision of Jim Lee in full living color. This is a concept wall. We have thousands of concepts from him and his studio.
That's amazing. So all this stuff is going into the game?
Yeah, and it's of course stuff that we had to put in the game, right? You have the Monarch Playing Card Company, you have Wayne Manor. Every place that a player or a fan is going to want to go,
Jim has pre-visualized and drawn up for us, and now we can make it in 3D.
That's amazing. So has anyone seen these, or is this
No,
all
these
just...
are, you're the first one allowed in, but there are thousands of these like we have, like I said, and Jim is very much into it. The detail's incredible if you look at it. They don't just try to portray a building, right? I mean, this is what you've seen in the comics. Here's Toxic Acres, Mad Hatter's Mansion. I mean, these are places people have seen in the comics for years, but now they get to experience them firsthand.
In case you didn't know, Wayne Manor is a very fancy Baroque mansion.
Very fancy, and apparently it's got, you know, all these little accoutrements.
Excellent. Well, the game looks freaking awesome right now, and you can really see how his drawings are coming to life.
And
in
of
the
course,
world.
with Jim drawing it, we know it's right.
Well, thank you so much for showing us the game.
Thanks a lot.
This is absolutely incredible.
Cool.